Hello, my name is Kenton, and my presentation is going to be on the nation Israel, which is actually a very fascinating country. But to understand anything about society, we first need to start with religion. Israel is the land of the Jews, so the primary religion is Judaism, at about 81% of the population. However, religion means something different to the Jews than it means to us Westerners. Religion is kind of more of a cultural identity rather than a set of beliefs. So you can be an atheist and still be Jew because it's about the society and the culture which you belong and you subscribe to. The second main religion is Islam, about 14%, and the two do not get along at all because of a very long history where the Jews lived in the land from about 500 BC until being exiled by the Romans in 70 AD and later driven out by the Muslim Caliphates in the 7th century. They fled to Europe where things didn't go very well for them. After the Holocaust, the UN felt bad for them, and so they allowed them to go back to their homeland. But the Arabs, after living in the land for over 1,000 years, weren't happy about losing their land to their enemies. They fought, the Jews won, they divided the land. They fought, the Jews won, they divided the land. They fought, the Jews won, they divided the land. They fought, the Jews won, they divided the land.
Oh, sorry about that. Looks like the chat got caught in an ongoing loop. Let's see if we can fix that here.
They fought, the Jews won, they divided the land into three sections: West Bank, Israel, and Gaza. The West Bank and Gaza remain almost entirely Islamic, whereas Israel is predominantly Jewish. There is also another small sect called Aramaics, which is different from Arabs, and they are a small group of Christians from the 1st century who have remained in the land ever since then. And neither of these three groups really trust each other, but there is a current cultural shift in the Jews and Christians at unity. Alright, so understanding the Jewish roots is very important to the society because a lot of the society is based off of Jewish teachings. A great example of that is in food. The Jewish scriptures, or what Christians would call the Old Testament, give a list of foods that they can and cannot eat, specifically regarding to meats. For example, you can eat cow or beef, but you cannot eat pig, which is pork, bacon, or ham. However, just because the Bible gives these regulations doesn't mean that citizens of Israel are held to them. You can be a non-practicing Jew and go to the marketplace and get ham if you want to. However, you're going to have to pay more because the supply isn't there because there isn't as much of a demand in the market. Speaking of which, economy. The currency of Israel is the New Israeli Shekel, or just Shekel for short. It's New Israeli because they had mass inflation in the 70s and had to reset their currency in 1980. So this is a 1 shekel coin. It's worth about 30 cents, or just over a quarter in US dollars. This is 2 shekels. Got 5 shekel here. And my favorite, the 10 shekel, which has a very nice design with the silver outlining in the copper center. Marketplaces look very different in Israel, whereas here in America, we go to the store, the prices are on the shelf underneath it. In Israel, there are these mass marketplaces with a whole bunch of small independent store owners. And most of these are outside, actually. You go up to a shop, see something you like, and you ask the shopkeeper, it's like, hey, how much for this rug? And they're like, 100 shekels. And you're like, no, too expensive. 20 shekels. They're like, no, too cheap. You would end up settling somewhere in the middle, like 60 shekels. So it's very heavy on the bargain base. They're also very pro-entrepreneurship. There's a lot of development in technology in Israel. In fact, I think it's Israeli technology that actually led rise to the GPS. Some people even think Israel might be a powerhouse in the near future in regards to technological advancements. Education is big in Israel. Israel is the second most educated country in the world, and the Jewish religion is the most educated religion in the entire world. And lastly, health. As far as I can tell, Jews tend to be pretty healthy. One, regarding the dietary laws, in addition to kosher laws, there's also laws about how they can cook food and process it, so there's less preservatives and stuff like that in it. There's also athletics. Jews are more active and athletic. They have to join the military at 18 for 2 years, and so they train to be in the military. And then there's a whole bunch of cleanliness laws, like they have to wash their hands before eating or after using the bathroom and stuff like that. So between healthier eating, more athletic lifestyles, and cleanlier lifestyles, they are naturally more healthy than your average American. And as far as I can tell, they are more pro-medicine than America is. However, I've not really studied up a whole bunch on the medicine in Israel. And so yeah, Israel is a very fascinating country. I've been there once and hope to go back sometime, and won't mind even moving there for a long term.